AskReddit by Para dies. What's something that needs to stop being passed down the generations? Mental illness. Mental illness runs in some families. My family is lazy, so here it just walks. This damn cookie jar, I told my gram it creeps me out. Well, come on now, tell us more. Is it the soulless eyes? Is it the porcelain skin? Is it the fact that great-great-grandma taxidermied her Sphinx cat to make the cookie jar? At least in my family, the fancy wine glasses. No one ever uses them, everyone keeps them hidden in cupboards because they are too nice to use. They are not even sentimental, someone just picked them up one day and handed them around the family. Life is short. Use the nice glasses. Inheritable diseases and medical conditions. I was gonna say heart disease BC. I'm starting to worry that I won that genetic lottery right now, so yeah, this. Cancer. Cancer killed my dad and mom. I have the same cancer that killed my mom. I was just told yesterday that I have about 4-5 months to live. I have 5 children and all are getting tested for colon cancer. This whole situation just sucks. The idea that what you like to do isn't worth anything. Yeah, it was always weird growing up when my parents would scoff at someone having fun or living their life. For example, they mocked my brother for taking scuba diving lessons because they thought it wasn't productive. Or they would talk shit about family members who took vacations that weren't at a resort or tourist trap. I grew up learning that mentality. It took me a while to get over it. Why am I going to watch a medieval knights tournament? Because it's fun. Because I want to do it. It's like they need some kind of justification to enjoy themselves. Baldness. Thanks Gramps. Edit. Glad to hear bald is sexy. Actually been buzzing mine since my early 20s and love it. An old fella I made friends with told me about a visit to the doctor he had concerning his hair loss. But my family doesn't have a history of male pattern baldness. Why am I getting it? The doctor's deadest response. It's gotta start somewhere. Child abuse. I'd gotten to age 7 living with my mom who never hit me, and then had to go live with my father for 2 years. He hit me, as did my stepmother. Often to the point of bruising. Watched him absolutely beat the living shit out of my brothers too. Tried to send letters to my mom showing what our bruises looked like, but they got intercepted. My mom finally found out after my oldest brother sent a letter from the post office instead. Led to my mom getting custody back after judge ruled my father unfit. To this day I will never forgive him for it. STDs. Wait, what? The I suffered through it, so you can suffer too mentality. There are 2 types of people. 1. I suffered through it so everybody else has to. 2. I suffered through it so I'm going to try to make sure nobody else has to. Deleted. Jesus guys, I was going to say silverware but this is all good too I guess. Trauma. Deleted. 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 Dangerous advice for pregnancies, babies, and young children. Most common examples I have seen. Castor oil for inducing labor. Blankets for sleeping babies, not swaddled. Rice cereal in bottles, unless doctor advised. Making your own formula. Survivor's bias is big on why this crap still gets passed around despite plenty of research proving they're unsafe. A lot of women don't even bother doing any research or taking free classes their healthcare offers that goes over a lot of this. I would like to add the belief that fetal movements decrease as pregnancy progresses due to baby running out of space. This is not true. Any reduced fetal movements should be reported to your midwife or obstetrician immediately. Expectations. We all have our own goals, desires and dreams. We shouldn't be expected to carry a family business, marry a certain kind of person, attend a particular college, earn a specific amount of money, live in a certain neighborhood. Don't let the opinions of older generations, family or not, dictate your life. Add giving your parents grandkids to that list. Debt. At least enough debt dies with its owner. As a black man from the hood, there is only one answer in my world, and it's poverty. We gotta start accumulating generational wealth. It will start with me. Thanks for the rewards. Glad somebody feels me. I wish you all the best in that endeavor, stranger. Emotional trauma. Also physical trauma. Yelling and slamming doors, cursing at your children and getting angry at them when you're teaching them things. Also yelling at your children not to cry. It only makes it worse and strips your child of actually feeling emotion. Hereditary diseases. The whole narrative that because someone is older they deserve blind respect and obedience. I always approach older people with respect, as a default. Then decide if they deserved it or not and act accordingly. Racism. This is correct. Bigotry of any kind needs to be left in the past. Being forced to spend time with distant relatives. It's okay not to be around those that live polar opposite lifestyles than you. I have relatives that will never know where I live, and for good reason. Yet family is always you need to keep in touch. The heck I do. My dad always asks why I don't go to family reunions, and I tell him I don't have anything in common with them. I didn't really like going to them as a kid, and as an adult I for sure wouldn't today. If you have a serious genetic medical condition you shouldn't have kids. I recently watched a Dutch docu, can't remember which one, but it was from the same guy that does Booth 2, about a woman who had only a short bit to live because of some genetic disease that made her lungs hurt like hell, and it got worse and worse, and still it was her wish to have a biological kid before she died. The kid would most likely inherit the same painful condition. Really, is that something you want your offspring to experience? If you're going through hell already, why should you get a kid that might go through the same hell as you? The bottle up your emotions manliness. Generational trauma. Political affiliation. Think for yourself. Choose for yourself. Not because your parents, grandparents, etc. have always voted for the party. Does that party, as they stand today, really represent your values? Will that politician who associates with that party actually vote the way you want them to? In my area, there are several local politicians who run under the umbrella for a particular party because the vast majority of locals will always vote for that party, so the election is effectively set by the primary. Smoking. Everybody my age I know who smokes do so because their parents' guardians either enabled them to or did not care enough to stop them. It's terrible. The amount of shitty parents who introduce their children to cigarettes, hard drugs and whatnot is insane. My cousin got addicted to heroin at 14 through this and now spends his days at a mental hospital. On the other hand, being hotboxed on car journeys in the 70s and 80s by my chain-smoking parents made my sister and I fervent anti-smokers. Religion. People should be able to grow up and decide for themselves, but that's really not the case. Making kids hug, kiss, snuggle relatives even if they don't want to because grandpa, grandma will have their feelings hurt if you don't. Shows kids that their own bodily autonomy is worth less than someone else's feelings. Also gives them a messed up view of what consent is. My Bill and Sil always tell my nieces to hug everyone before we all leave. Makes me super uncomfortable because I can tell at times they don't want to hug everyone. If I want a hug, I always ask my nieces and nephews. If they say no, that's fine. My feelings won't be hurt. I'm not much of a hugger, so I get not wanting to hug people.